What a masterpiece. What do you think, Tim?
I'm Isaac Sims.
I'm Tim Barnett.
And this is Tavern Talk. We are filling in for Philip this week. We are covering David Lowery's The Green Knight. One of our most anticipated movies. It was my number one anticipated movie.
Definitely was mine as well.
I'm a co-host on Flyover Film Country, a podcast about movies set in places oft forgotten by Hollywood.
Cool. I'm a local filmmaker, Little Rock, Arkansas.
This is the new movie from director David Lowery. How many of his films have you seen?
I've seen, I think, all of them.
Yeah?
All of the main ones.
So,
I hit short films.
He hit one of his first breakouts was Ain't Them Bodies Saints, right?
Didn't see that one.
Okay, yeah, didn't see that one
I'm thinking
either.
Ghost Story.
Ghost Story and Pete's Dragon
Dragon.
are his two most recent, and A Ghost Story had really amazing time travel, reflection on existence type thing, and I felt like this movie had a lot in common with A Ghost Story.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
And it had the same, like, super long sustained shots of like, really sort of the mundane that put you in a very, just, like, grounded place, you know? And then he'll subtly, over time, blend in that, like, time morphing stuff that I feel like it helps you get that, like, existential questioning better than, like, something more over the top.
So this movie, the trailer came out about a year ago, and what did you expect this movie to be like? Because I had different expectations coming in, and they were shattered in a very good way.
Yeah. I mean, I love, like, Arthurian legends and stuff, and typically A24 likes to put out, as a production company, likes to put out these, like, relatively familiar storylines with some sort of just, like, gut-wrenchingly dark twist to it, you know what I mean? So I was expecting maybe that a little bit more, you know what I mean? Something to twist you. But I was surprised at how true it was to the original tale. It was just told very minimalistically and very carefully.
One of the subgenres for this movie, as it was listed on theater websites and such, was horror. And so I was pretty interested to see how he blended in that kind of thing. And it wasn't as overt as I was expecting, which was a little bit disappointing to me about halfway through. But as the story continued to evolve, and especially with, like, so little dialogue, that was something that we kind of mentioned to each other right after this movie finished. This movie's so visual. It looks so good.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It looks natural, even when you can tell it's color corrected. It is just absolutely stunning.
Yeah, it's like a visual masterpiece for sure. But it's interesting too because it was also very minimalistic, which I keep mentioning. But there's not these just, like, massive, like, battle, fantasy dragon scenes and stuff, which are awesome.
Were you kind of hoping for, like, at least one or two?
For a second there, I was like, oh snap, it's gonna happen, but it didn't. But I was okay with that because it made me see the genre and the events that could take place in a totally different way. It felt so fresh. So you can tell he had these visuals that he just loved. I'm seeing the circle of the light right now. I'm actually thinking about all the circles and shapes that were in the movie.
Yep.
Really interesting idea.
We should, I think we should get into some kind of story and plot specific things. So we're going to put up a little banner here, right here. Spoilers, if you have not seen The Green Knight yet, please stop watching. Please go see it. I think we'll flash forward real quick to the end of this video. I recommend this wholeheartedly.
Oh yeah, I do as well.
Yep, let's talk about spoilers. So does he die?
I don't think he does.
The whole point of The Green Knight is, or the big overarching theme is honor. It starts out with Dev Patel's. So at first, Arthur calls him. It sounds like he calls him Gawarn, and then I was like, that's how they're gonna call him. But then someone else said Gawain, and so that Gawain is how you pronounce his name.
Sir Gawain and the Green Knight.
And a lot of other people will say Gawain because there's an I.
Sir Gawain and the Green Knight.
So he kind of starts out as, like, kind of a lecherous, like, I don't know, I just kind of drink and you know, party, and I don't really have a story to tell. And lo and behold, his mother summons the Green Knight. That sets into motion this huge theme of honor and like an ambition and like what do you want in life. And I thought, as the movie went on, that's what kept pulling me back in. I was like, there's something here. I haven't ever seen this theme explored so heavily in a movie before.
Yeah, and you don't know which direction they're going to go with it. I keep talking about the like minimalistic quality of it all, but it's interesting because it's like King Arthur, which like everybody knows, like King Arthur, like that name at least, you know. And there's so much lore and stuff that it could go into, but it really doesn't. You know, you have King Arthur who's like old and sick, which is interesting. I've never seen that. And then like you have the wizard Merlin, but they never call him by name.
And he doesn't really say anything.
Yeah, he's barely. It's this like using the skeleton of like a King Arthur that you might already know to tell a story more individually focused. You know what I mean? It's interesting because the great quest he's going on. So the Green Knight challenges him to like strike a blow.
And it can be like any kind of. It could have been like a little nick or cut his head off, and he chooses to cut his head off. And like, and he gets all these riches and stuff. But the condition is that in 1 year the Green Knight can come back and do the same blow. So he like cuts his head off, thinking that'll kill him. Green Knight picks his head up and is like laughing. He says, 1 year. That's very cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. Cool. So the idea is like what is the point of your honor? You know what I mean? If you're going back to die, you know, like that's your life.
He said, someone has to come up and strike a blow against me, and then they have to come find me.
Yeah, you have to go to him
1 year hence,
and no one really knows where he is.
Go find. He said the Green Chapel.
So yeah, the idea is this fatalistic honor. You know what I mean? Because the only way he could become a knight is to become honorable. You know. And all of the King Arthur, again, to have the like context, all the King Arthur stories are about these knights of great honor. You know what I mean? Like similar to David in the Bible with his like mighty men and all that. It's the same like character archetype.
It's kind of a given that they are honorable because they are knights.
And because they've done mighty things.
Men, yeah.
Like at the start, he didn't have a mighty story to tell. You know? So this is his chance to have a mighty story to tell, but he's going to die if he does it, you know? So he's going on this great journey to die. But he's doesn't really. He is just like a party boy. He really doesn't even want to do it, you know. But it's like this pressure of everybody. It's just so interesting.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing that. So I read the poem a couple months ago, and that's not something that you assume of him like from the beginning. You kind of assume that he's good and like he's gonna make the right decision at every step. And I think it was a really strategic decision by Lowery to give him some kind, like he's just a guy. He's just a young man who wants to party and has these like impulses.
It felt similar to Dunkirk in that these aren't like these like war hero soldiers really. Like he's just a boy. He's not this like action hero war man. He's just trying to make it through this thing.
And he kind of wants to. He wants to be because he like his face kind of falls because he's like, well, I'm on Christmas Day. I should have been in mass. I couldn't find my boots, and I was partying all night. And his aunt and uncle are like, well, tell us a tale about yourself. I don't have anything.
Yeah, he says,
I don't have anything to tell. That's so cool because he feels shame. And I didn't really think about this until just now, but like, so the round table where all of Arthur's other knights are sitting there, none of them say anything. The whole movie, whenever they are on screen, they just draw their swords. And so it's kind of this cool little way of him of the director putting the attention on Gawain and like this is his time. This is time for him to do something.
Yeah, his moment.
Yeah.
To get to be legendary. In the original tale, there's a few twists and turns, and I guess if you're watching this, you've already seen it. But in the tale, you find out the Green Knight was his like mother the whole time.
Yeah.
Which they don't even. That's just what's so interesting. The minimalistic storytelling, they don't even touch on that with this. I mean, you see she's like summoning stuff, and you're like, oh snap. And you expect that to be a twist of some sort, but it's really not.
It's not because you expect maybe like he's gonna find out, go back, confront her,
yeah,
like
but the
traditional.
is,
like it's almost like my brain was being rewired because the way this story is told is so unconventional.
Yeah, it's
in a great way, but still kind of like confusing at times because we're used to seeing those things over and over.
He's telling it like you know the story, like everyone knows. He's telling it as somebody who loves the story and is now telling his version. Similar to Hamilton is the same thing. The story almost doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like this Pilgrim's Progress.
That honestly is a
things.
great way, except there's like no definitive. There is a definitive end. You kind of get a moment where you see Gawan's future, and you see Gawan's future, and you think that I thought the movie was about to end.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't, and you see him make a completely different decision though. Mm-hmm. And we won't spoil the very, very end. But it was still, it was kind of like this tale of or not even a tale, but it's kind of like a universal human experience type of like, this is what happens in life, which is so unconventional for an adventure and tale of like chivalry and knighthood, and then not even to mention like the themes of love or lovelessness that underlie everything that he does throughout the movie.
Something else I just wanted to talk about was this interesting like nature versus like industrialism that it kept showing. Like you'd see trees, the whole, it's very green, very circular, like that light. But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to like pinpoint it. Like the humans, it felt like had all these circle emblems everywhere, and then nature was very like vertical. And then like you see these trees cut down, destroyed, but then you'll see forests of lots of trees. It's like this reoccurring theme. And he's going to the Green Chapel, which is a like man-made concrete church that's been completely overgrown with green. It's just like this really interesting conflict. I feel like the environment was like more of a main character than anybody almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was like a central character, and then the visual storytelling worked with that.
This is us nerding out because we both pay attention to cinematography and like camera work and that kind of thing, but you get two shots that resemble each other, and the one that I was looking forward to most from the trailer is when he's been captured and tied up and he's laying there, and then suddenly the frame changes and he's in this exact same position, but he's a skeleton.
I was waiting.
And so it was kind of like this really cool way of saying like time taking its toll on humanity and how we're not above the ravaging of time.
Snap. He does that same exact shot in a Ghost Story. I didn't even process that.
And like at the end of the Green Knight, when spoilers, like it appears as if his whole kingdom is falling and the doors are being burst open, and the same thing is happening, just panning around. You're getting to see the looks on different people's faces and the main door being breached. Just really, really good stuff in this movie.
There's a lot of really... It's such an interesting way. You can tell the same story a million different ways, depending on who you give the camera to and the script to or whatever. So it's interesting to see... I just keep talking about it, but like a fantasy story told like this, you know what I mean? It's I think it's why people love The Witch, because The Witch was told like you were there.
Yep. I'm already looking forward to seeing it again, so... Well, Tim, thanks for doing this.
Of course.
Yeah, always good seeing movies with you when we can.
Yeah, definitely. Also, before we leave, I have a stain on my shirt, so I feel like I should
it's okay,
acknowledge that.
Yeah. Was that from...
It was from the burger that I had.
Nice. Was it good?
It really was.
I've never had a Movie Tavern.
It was actually
burger.
very good. It was better than I even expected.
Come see the Green Knight. Come get a burger here at the Movie Tavern. They make good food. They have good beer.
Don't
had
wear
a beer
a white
before. Shirt. Guys, please remember to subscribe to Tavern Talk by Initial Reaction, and we'll be back next week or the week after with another video from Philip. So thank you, and hopefully Philip will let us come on again after this really in-depth, this was way more in-depth movie analysis than review. But thank you for watching, and we hope you have a great night.
Basically, I'm the Green Knight, and he's the Dark Knight.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. You're wearing green pants, so that works.